Braden tried several sports, but baseball was his sport.
The smile it put on his face was amazing.
We were all at the lake. It was a family fun day, and he was snorkeling. He took in water, and by the time he was pulled out of the water, his heart had stopped. They did all they could. We were asked to join someone in a room, and she asked if we would be interested in donating his organs. The original question kind of took me back a little bit. I just didn't realize that was coming. But his dad and I decided that was who Braden was. And if I could have asked him, that's what he would have done. They called us up every time they found a match, and it was awesome. It broke our hearts to lose him, but that's what he would have done. He would have helped whoever he could.
Organ donation is something that I didn't think much about, and I certainly didn't think it would affect my life as much as it has. When Matthew was about 4.5 years old, he had already been through 2 heart surgeries at that point, and we noticed that he didn't have the energy and the appetite that he had had previously. They decided that he was going to need a transplant. I was actually surprised that we got the call as soon as we did.
One of the main things that stuck with me when we made the decision to donate Braden's organs was that someday I would be able to hear his heart. The other organs that he donated are just as life-changing, but I couldn't hear them. I could hear Braden's heart, and we did.
I kept wanting to write a letter, and every time I thought about writing, I just didn't even know where to begin. So about a month after the transplant, Matthew was doing really well, and he kept hearing me talk about this letter that I was planning to write, and finally he said, "When are you going to write that letter?" And I said, I know I need to write it, I'll write it. And he said, well, just let me write it.
It said, "We're sorry you lost your child, and we love you." And it was the sweetest, most heartfelt letter I've ever seen.
And so we exchanged a few more letters over the next few months, and a year after the transplant, we were able to meet them, which was an amazing opportunity.
The night before the transplant surgery and everything, I listened to his heart for hours. And so to hear it again in a excited, hyper, bouncing child, it defines why we made the decision we made.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special young man joining us tonight, 7-year-old Matthew Brown from Chesapeake. He is joined on the field by his mother, Kelly, and by Jessica Pearson. They are here tonight to honor the memory of Braden Pearson, an 8-year-old baseball lover who died in a tragic accident in 2014. But Braden's legacy lives on in Matthew.
Coming up here to see him honored for a team that was bigger than he got to make it to, it was powerful. I definitely feel like Braden was there. I definitely feel like he gave a little push for Matthew throwing that ball. It absolutely meant the world, and it was well worth a trip 100 times longer. I would have never missed it. If you are not an organ donor, if you haven't thought about being an organ donor, do it. You have nothing to lose, and so many families and communities and lives can be changed by that decision.